Alright. Could you list some basic information about your involvement in the Vietnam War, such as your branch of the military, your regiments, companies, rankings, etc.?
Was in the U.S. Navy in the Seabees, which is a construction brigade, and stationed in Gulfport, Mississippi, to go on tours, or you'd leave there and go to other countries. Back in the 60s when I enlisted, it was pretty much Vietnam, back and forth. First tour over there, went to up near Fubai. Hang on. Keep taking a lever, please. Just hang on a minute. Did you get it stalled?
Uh-huh.
Way, that's what it was, up near Way, in Fubai. Fubai, we did construction work, bridges, we even built a chapel up on the base at Fubai. Up in Way, we worked on coffer dams, and a lot of bridges, some dry land bridges, which are not a swampland since it's a jungle. And dryland bridges, you just drive piles down to support a slab, and you pour concrete where it was a swamp. And of course, there were times that it got kind of crazy. Worked on bridges under lights overnight, bullets zinging by and stuff. One of our guys got hit, luckily, I guess. His second tour was all in Da Nang, and I was working on the Highway 1, which went from Da Nang to Hue. In the south, it went down to way down south. Anyway, that's what we did. Filled it in, built coffers, head walls, all kinds of stuff.
Alright. Could you explain your reasoning for enlisting in the military, and could you describe your experience with the volunteering process?
There wasn't a lot of jobs. It was the 60s, and a lot of goofy stuff going down. I just wanted to get away and go somewhere. It seemed like a fun thing to do, join the Navy, see the world. And I did eventually get to do a lot of that, but why not? That's something to do. I learned a lot. Got to go to a lot of schools, a lot of training.
Alright. So during the 60s, what was your experience like in basic training, and was it as rigorous as the media portrays it to be?
Well, I think it was a lot of marching, walking, going from one class to the next. Everything was marching one to the next, but we did make it having fun at times. It was, I think it lasted 16 weeks. And really got off base once. That was out in San Diego, so got to go downtown and see a little bit. We weren't off for very long, but yeah, it was about it. A lot of training, a little bit of rifle range, a lot of classes on ships, which my experience, I never did get on, so.
Alright. Could you describe your average daily duties and assignments?
Get up in the morning and get up to muster, have some breakfast, and then jump on the trucks and head out to work. Put in a good 8, 10, or 12 hour day, depending upon sunlight. Come back and get some rest, get ready for the next day. There's a lot of work.
Could you describe the bonds that you formed within your squads, platoons, companies, and both your regiments among your fellow soldiers and your officers?
You became buddies. You were there, and they were watching your back while you're watching theirs. And every so often you have to shoot back at people, and just get kind of rowdy with it. We do a lot of bridge work, and we'd shoot at clumps floating down the river, and every once in a while one would blow up because it'd be bombs that didn't go off, or shells from tanks that didn't go off. They'd catch the backside of a hill and slide down to the bottom and wouldn't detonate. They'd tie that to logs or a pile of brush floated down the river and hope it hits the bridge. And if it don't hit that bridge, it might hit the next one. It'll just stay floating down the river until it does blow up. And then we get to build a new one.
Alright. What kind of connections did you keep to the home front during both of your tours to Vietnam? And what was life like when you lived in Mississippi, Florida, and Puerto Rico?
We wrote a lot of letters. And we had what was called a Mars station, which was shortwave radio. And you could talk back and forth, and they could connect you to a phone if you could get someplace close to your house. It was good. If not, it might have cost you a couple bucks. But it was a Mars station, so you would say hello over, and they'd realize it was a Mars call, and say, hi, how you doing, over? And they'd go back and forth that way, so the operator or the Mars operator would know when to flip the switch so the other person could talk. Not like it is today. You didn't have text or internet or any of that kind of stuff.
Right. So, what kind of stuff did you do when you lived in, like, Mississippi, Florida, and Puerto Rico?
Oh, Mississippi, between tours, did twice to Vietnam, back to backs. And between tours, it was in August of 1969. It's when I got married on a Thursday, and on the Sunday following, Hurricane Camille came through and pretty much wiped out the Gulf Coast. So we spent 12 hours a day cleaning and cutting trees and just general search and rescue type stuff till it was time to head back to Vietnam.
Alright, so why do you think the war was fought?
Why do I think the world is what?
The war was fought. Vietnam War.
Suppression of communism. Didn't want that. The NVA, North Vietnam, was Chinese backed. And Chinese was red, radically red. They've cooled a lot since then. And it's a communist government, which is akin to socialist government, which means that the government takes care of everybody, and you get their allotments of their rice and food and bread and shoes and shirts and pants and whatever. And what you get is what you get. But the government takes care of you, so you don't have to worry so much. But there's no There's no dream of advancement or making a lot of money. It just doesn't really work that way in a communist society.